Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Line. My name is Priestley, and my first guest here is Brad Roos, Director of Cups for MSYSA. Before we get into all of this, I just want to ask you, what was your why to join us in 2016?
So, first of all, Priestley, hey, glad to be here. Excited about the first podcast. Right
Yes.
on.
Best guest ever right here.
So we are going to have a great time, right? So my role as Cup Director, really, I coached for about 34 years in the Cups.
Okay. Now, was that with Bethesda?
I was with Bethesda and FC Frederick.
Got it.
I left Bethesda and went up to FC Frederick, where I live, just to see if the magic could continue in Frederick as well as Bethesda.
And I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling goosebumps, Brad. So I feel like it did.
Yeah, unbelievable experience. So in the years for Bethesda and Frederick, my teams won 36 state championships, 12 regional tournaments, 2 national championships, had an unbelievable group of players. We had the only 2 teams back-to-back, the Fury and the Eclipse, that won every state cup match they ever played in from U10 through U19.
Wow.
Never lost a match. So
Bravo.
from that, though, over the years, I was a little bit disappointed in both the state cup and quite honestly, the regional tournament that was being run. And so I agreed to become the director, more so to make sure that the players, the coaches, and the families had the best experience they could have.
And I just want to say, I have been out to some of the preliminary matches because we're heading into the finals. The vibe out there is so fun. The parents love Brad. The kids love Brad. The energy is just so positive. You've done an incredible job with it.
Well, thank you. I mean, look, I know almost every single person. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story. I was in up by Hagerstown the other day. I coached my little granddaughter's team, and after the game, we all went to this brewery. And there was a gentleman there that caught me right away and said, "Brad, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm coaching But you get to know the people, and the people are awesome.
Yes.
The parents, the players, the coaches. And I think what happens is I've developed such a rapport, like relationship with them. You go to those games, and you and I have talked about this a couple times you came out. It's not crazy like it is at some of these league games or things that go on.
It's not.
The people are well-behaved. The kids are well-behaved. Yeah, we have a few instances here and there that I have to take care of.
Sports happen.
Right.
Yes.
And it's competitive. People want to win. Right?
Yes.
But I am so impressed with the attitude, the sportsmanship, and the overall environment of what we're offering here in Maryland at the Cups.
It's a very professional vibe. It's the referees are so great. They're so personable, the way they handle the players, the parents. It's really how all tournaments and league games should be run.
Yeah, so if you look at a tournament, there's four parts of a tournament to be really successful. One is competition. 2 is facilities.
Sure. Oh, I want to talk about those guys.
3 is organization, and 4 is referees.
Yes.
So in this country, we've kind of forgot about sometimes the referees. And so Gabriel Adu, who is the new state referee assigner.
We're going to get him on OTL here.
And Larry Middleman, director of instruction.
The best.
They have worked so hard. The last 3 years, we have actually made the experience for the referees really good. For instance, we provide breakfast. We provide lunch for the referees. We have drinks there all day long. We try to have them when they're in the middle, the center referee, they take the game off before that so they're rested before they go in the middle.
Smart.
Those guys have done a phenomenal job. And what Larry has done is every single weekend he brings out mentors to work with the referees to get better. And that is an issue within this country, is that there are so many games and there are not enough referees.
Truth.
That we're sending them out all over the place and they get no ability to get better. And this is the opportunity that they can get better as an official, which I'm really proud of.
So we're growing all aspects of the game and creating this environment that is just such a competitive, safe, fun space to really just try some stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So all of those things that I mentioned, the four items, those are all critically important. And then another example I'll give you is like when I started, I just did State Cup for about a year or two. And President's Cup was run by someone else, and it was not run well. The facilities weren't great. The referees weren't great. So when I took it over, I said everything is going to be the difference. It's going to be the same between State Cup and President's Cup. Same fields, same referees, same organization, same facilities. And so it's made the President's Cup really jump up. I mean, this is the highest number we've ever had in President's Cup this year.
My kids have played in President's Cup. We've even made it last year to the West Virginia, I forget, regionals.
Yeah.
What an incredible experience. But what you mentioned earlier, which I think is so key and important, is the facilities themselves. Soccerplex is unbelievable. Liberty Park is unbelievable. How did you find these places, and what's it like to work there?
So Soccerplex, I have been there, a part of Soccerplex since it opened, both as a coach, but then I also am the tournament director of the Premier Cup, Bethesda, which has 1,200 teams every November.
It's a really big tournament,
Huge.
friends, yes.
Yeah. And quite honestly, one of the biggest reasons that took off so much was because of our association with the Soccerplex. It's 24 fields. It is one of the best facilities in the country for one reason in particular, in that the fields are not on top of each other.
Exactly.
If you go to some facilities, I mean, the fields are right next to each other. There's no space.
Yes.
Yeah, and they do that, again, because they're trying to get as many fields in as they can.
Sure.
Here, the way it was designed, they're spread out. There are these berms almost on every field where you can sit on the top of the berm and sit down and watch the game. It's
beautiful.
It's outstanding.
It really is. And for parents as well, parking is so nice and easy. It's appreciated.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
It does.
Now, Liberty Park, we've been there since it opened.
Okay, that's a newer facility.
Newer facility. I think this is only the third year that's been open.
Okay.
There are 6 turf fields and 4 grass fields there. We primarily use the turf fields for Cup. And again, the reason for that is that, and both Soccerplex and Liberty try to make sure that no matter what the weather is like, State Cup and President's Cup can be played. So they move us around fields. They make accommodations for us, quite honestly. Liberty Park, again, allows me to have quality fields for 3 different age groups throughout the time. If we didn't have that, I don't know really if we could provide a quality place where all of those age groups could play at one location.
You did a great job scouting out these spots. Again, it is just so easy and just an enjoyable experience to be out there, especially when weather plays nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes weather, wants to throw us a little curveball, but that's okay. We still have a good time. So having a good time, how can teams get involved in either the State Cup or the President's Cup if they haven't done so yet?
Yeah, so the State Cup is for the National Conference Division I teams, or the higher level teams. That in Maryland, the numbers have gone down a little bit because we have so many clubs that are in other platforms that are not U.S. Youth. But Greg and I are working on a system to maybe bring back quite a few of those teams. Okay?
Excellent. So if they were interested, how?
Well, I think what we'll do is we're gonna have a meeting with all those clubs and lay out some alternative plans about how maybe they could be in other platforms but still get involved.
Love it.
The President's Cup, now that's very interesting. So for the first couple years, it wasn't viewed as a viable tournament competition in Maryland because it was A, new, and B, people just have a stigmatization of if it's not the top teams, it's not great, right?
Right, but not right.
But not right because they are the same exact setup as State Cup. And what's occurred is our President's Cup teams have got much more competitive. I mean, the games are unbelievable.
Unbelievable what I've seen.
And the teams that we're sending to regionals, much higher level. Like last year, we sent 4 to the national tournament in Kansas.
Awesome.
First time we've ever sent that many. I expect to have at least that many.
Let's go Maryland.
This year, yeah. Going to Tampa. It's 4 teams that are Division II and below.
Got it.
And so I think that will continue to grow because teams hear about it. They see the the way that it's being run, the professionalism, and I think
Yes.
that's just going to continue to grow.
It is such a privilege and honor to be here with you guys. I just want to say thank you. You have been an amazing first guest. I just hope you've enjoyed your time here on OTL.
Yeah, look, Priestley, I am all into this.
Yes.
And let me just point out to people,
Please.
the President's Cup Finals, Saturday, May 31st,
Yep.
all day at the Soccerplex.
I will be there with you guys.
Yeah, the winners of that will advance to Valley Forge for the regionals,
Valley Forge is where?
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Okay. And for State Cup, their finals are Sunday, June 1st. Same thing all day at the Soccerplex.
Yes.
They advance to Loudon, Virginia, which is great because our teams can commute back and forth without staying in a hotel.
Beautiful. Extra savings, moms and dads.
There you go. It works out perfectly. People are very excited about that. And then this year, the national finals for President's Cup, Tampa, Florida.
Wow.
And they call it NCS or State Cup, is Orlando, Florida.
So it's all in Florida this
All
year.
in Florida this year.
Man,
Yeah.
you guys are doing some great stuff, Brad. Thank you.
Priestley, thanks for having me. Great to be here, my friend.
First on OTL, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Roos. Find him on the fields. We will be looking for you. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, man.
We are back with my buddy Nathean Meadows. Now, you're the director of outreach and grassroots.
That is correct.
I got it right. Awesomeness. Friends, we're here today to talk about our Let's Play program, which, to be honest, is one of my favorite things we do at MSYSA. Nathean, what inspired the program? Let's start with that.
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. So, honestly, the Let's Play program was born out of COVID. So, as listeners may recall, COVID was a devastating time for the country, and it was most certainly devastating for the sports landscape. But one of the things that happened kind of coming on the backside of COVID is that, travel, competitive and elite sports, they jumped right back out on the field. They were basically doing exactly the same as they had ever done prior. But at the recreational and grassroots level, they were decimated. Many clubs and many organizations reporting 50, 60, 70% drops in registered players and those kinds of things.
That's the bad kind of goosebumps.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. And so we were thinking about, how can we help our recreational grassroots clubs and affiliates and people to kind of get back out on the field. But those conversations really spurred for us something else too, and helped shine a bright light on something that we hadn't really spent a lot of time and energy on previously.
And what was
and that was not elite competitive sports, not even recreational and grassroots soccer, but that other section of the community that didn't have any opportunities to play the game, that they experienced so many barriers to them being able to participate in organized sports, whether that be transportation barriers, whether that be kind of lack of green space barriers, whether that's lack of programming options, lack of caring adults and coaches that can run programs.
It's a true need.
Yeah. So we absolutely felt like, wow, we need to do something about the kids that exist in that space, right, and that live in these communities. Because if we don't help them find a place to play, who is going to do it?
Nobody.
Who is going to do it? And we have the resources, we have the expertise, we have the knowledge to be able to do that. So we set about a journey to say, okay, what can we do to impact the most number of kids as possible that don't typically get opportunities to play organized sports? And so that's where Let's Play was birthed. We did a lot of research. We spoke to a lot of different organizations, some other clubs, some other people that were already doing kind of outreach soccer work in underserved communities to see kind of what the real needs were and kind of how we really do this. And so Let's Play was born out of that need. We targeted Title I and community schools because those schools typically have high numbers of low-income students, and those are the target population of kids that are losing out disproportionately on opportunities to participate in sports.
Sad but true.
Yeah, and it's been amazing journey. Way more. We live by the mantra here that if you do the right things for the right reasons, good things will happen.
Now see, there's the good goosebumps.
Yeah.
You say that.
We started this journey not as a way to get more registered players for MSYSA.
Sure.
Not to find the next Christian Pulisic. And many programs are designed to do that,
Yeah.
right? To go into inner city environments, to go into underserved environments to see who's the next great star that they can potentially pull out.
And
from
we do
there.
believe that is possible.
It is possible.
However, that's not our drive.
Right. Our drive is to grow the game and by that game to transform lives. And so we really feel like soccer has the power to really change our lives. Like Nelson Mandela said, right, that sport can change the world. We wanted to be able to come into these communities and give them opportunities they wouldn't normally have for the sole purpose of giving them that opportunity. Not what we could get from them, not where we could send them afterwards, not
Sure.
who we could invite them to be a part of, but just because it's the right thing to do for them and for their school and for their school communities.
And I was going to say, this is the kind of stuff that the game, it translates to off the field. These are the lessons of working together and responsibility and community that we can take from the pitch to our lives.
Right. And we just seen such tremendous outpouring. Or, we started with these grand goals, right, that after 3 years, we would be in 6 schools serving up to 150 children in those 6 schools. That was our goal.
That's good.
We are now slightly beyond that. We're getting close to 4 years now, but we are currently in 28 schools with over 1,000 children each season. And throughout the course of the program these past 4 years, we've served over 5,000 children across like 32 or 33 schools. And the goal is just to continue, right, to continue to give back. And we work in direct collaboration with the schools because it really is our goal, our desire to partner with them to help bring transformative change to their community and to their students, to help them in school, to help them in life, to be a part of the kind of the wraparound services that they so desire and is part of the Maryland educational blueprint for community schools and for Title I schools. And we just think it's a really powerful opportunity, and we've been so blessed to be a part of it and to be able to bring these opportunities to so many schools. And we continue to get schools reaching out to us on a weekly basis saying, hey, we heard about Let's Play. What can we do to get it to
We're
our
going
school?
to talk about that, and we're going to get others invite. We want to come on out to your schools for sure. Hang for that. I had the privilege to come out and see Let's Play in action, and I'm going to talk about how impactful that was on me personally. But getting back to you and the schools, it brought together everything that's required. We're supplying the caring people to come out and introduce the game. However, the fields are already at the schools. The kids, they're there. It's all built in. What a great idea. We're a few years in now. What's the impact been on some of these communities?
Yeah, I think that's why we continue to get schools reach out to us and invite us to be a part of their community, because we started out with the goals of just providing this opportunity, right? We felt like, okay, what would we probably achieve that we would help kids and we would help them fight obesity, right? That was one of our kind of original goals because they're getting active, being fit.
Love.
The program itself is holistic in nature, and that it's not just soccer. It's about basic nutritional health and wellness, and it's about character development and social emotional learning. So those 3 pillars have curriculum designed specifically around them to meet the needs of the whole child. And what schools are now telling us after a few years in there is that kids are showing up to school more often. And there's a strong correlation between being at school and actually learning, right? Because you can't learn when you're not at school. And so that's one of those biggest metrics that schools across the nation are really invested and interested in, are kids showing up to school. And our schools are telling us that when Let's Play is involved, kids are more likely to come to school. They're more excited about school. The other things that they're really showing us is that their families are engaging more with the school. And another big marker of academic achievement for children is when their parents and their families are more involved in their actual school environment and in what they're doing at school.
Agree.
And often in communities of color and in low-income communities, there's a disconnect between that school engagement and the families. And so Let's Plays help to really reinvigorate that for some of these parents. And so schools are excited about that. They're excited about the socialization and the inclusive social behaviors that they're seeing from their students. As I'm sure you can imagine, coming out of COVID,
Oh,
It was a complete break of socialization for so many kids, studying at home, staying at home, being isolated. And in their formative elementary years, they literally were forgetting how to act around other kids and how to socialize. And so Let's Play came in at a critical time for them, putting them out on the field, getting boys and girls to play together.
That's cool.
Which
It's
often
co-ed.
doesn't happen. It's a
Correct.
co-ed program, yep. So they're doing better in school, in the classroom. Their behaviors have improved. We were just speaking to a principal just a couple of weeks ago and told us that he attributes a dramatic lack of violence in their school directly to the Let's Play participation in their school.
That's incredible.
He said the number of fights has dropped precipitously since Let's Play has been involved, and from his perspective, he attributes it to that program.
That is, the kids are working together because they're on the field as teammates. They're burning some energy, which is really necessary in post-COVID world when we're all just sitting here on our screens.
Right.
Put the screens down, even though we appreciate you watching and listening, but go out there and kick a ball. Make some friends. That's incredible. And speaking of inciting, you guys bring some really cool people to Let's Play.
We do.
You got a powerful partner in the Washington Spirit. Share with us what that was all like.
Yeah, it's been really important for us, right, to give this great soccer opportunity for kids. It's very basic, elementary level soccer experience, but while our goal has never been to find the next Christian Pulisic or to find the next, Sophie Smith or, something like that, we do recognize that it's really important for kids to have the opportunity to aspire to something great, right?
Yes.
And to see professional athletes and to recognize that they're real human beings. They're not superhuman. And to get the Washington Spirit to partner with us to bring some of their players out to the field. It's just amazing, right? Because you see these people on TV and you think, oh, they're my heroes. You never think that you will actually see them in the flesh.
Correct.
And they come and you have fun with them. They show you some skills. They sign an autograph.
Amazing.
I
I'm getting
remember
the chills
as
now.
a young boy in England myself, and with my local team going down to the training field during the week, back then when you actually could go to the training field. And I still have photos, I still have items that are signed by those players. And it was very critical and important for me as a young boy. And we love to give those opportunities to these players now for something that they're unlikely to experience in any other environment, to be this close, right?
100%.
A foot away, to give a hug
Yes.
to a real professional player that they typically would only see on TV.
And I'm a huge hugger, and hugs last a lifetime. I believe in that. It's so inspirational. So who were the players that we had come on out? I mean, we got to shout out some of these ladies. They were amazing. It was Brittany Ratcliffe.
Yes.
We have Paige Mateer. I
believe
believe that's
so.
how we
That-
say your name,
yeah.
Paige. If I'm incorrect, it's Priestley. You can call me Presley. I get it all the time, like Elvis. I also want to shout out Kate Weisner and McKenna Morris. I wish I could have been there with you.
Yeah. And that was, with McKenna especially, that's a really, really cool story there, because she attended one of our schools in Gaithersburg, and McKenna is actually from Gaithersburg.
Oh, Nathean,
And
that's so cool.
here she is as a professional athlete coming back into her own community, giving back to the kids in her own community. Her mom was there with her too.
Oh, wow.
And so she was able to get the whole family involved. I mean, it was just amazing for the kids and amazing for her to go home, right? There's nothing quite like that story of like coming back home
That's
to be
what
an
it's
inspiration.
all about. And yes, hugging and showing the kids and kicking the ball. What was it like for her mom watching this?
That's a really great story. I wasn't there, so I don't know.
We'll
But-
have to have McKenna on OTL to talk about it and what that experience was like. That is your invitation. We're coming for you. But man, that is really, really cool. I'm curious, what's the energy like with the family, the students, the teachers? I mean, we're bringing professional soccer players. We're bringing people who are excellent in the game to coach and train. What's that like for them?
I mean, they're just really excited about it, right? Understanding that for many of the schools that we serve, they don't get a lot of opportunities to participate in anything other than going to school and going home, with their
You're right.
parents and so on and so forth. And
True.
so the school is so excited because they have these out-of-school time activities that are available for their kids. And that's one of those kind of high danger points for students growing up in underserved communities, that time from when school ends to when maybe mom and dad are getting home from work. It's really difficult, and they can often get themselves into a lot of trouble. And so there's enthusiasm from the school principals and from the community school liaisons that we work with. The kids, of course, absolutely thrilled, right? They love soccer. They love being involved. It's the greatest thing ever to them. You know, they asked our coaches to sign their gear at the end of the season. Those coaches to them feel like superheroes, right? Feel like professionals, even if they're not.
Correct.
Although we've had one or two professionals that have kind of come in and actually been part of our coaching team,
That's awesome.
which is really, really cool.
Thank you.
And the parents too. They rarely get an opportunity to support their kids in something that they're doing at school.
That's a good
right?
point.
Because they're kind of in school and they don't get the opportunity to go and be
No.
a part of that. And so they now have the opportunity to come and watch their kids practice every week if they so desire.
Sure.
And then at the end of each season, we have this big celebration, scrimmage fest, where the kids just get to play scrimmages, kind of round-robin fashion. We invite all of the parents to come out. We invite the teachers to come out. And so you'll see people out there with signs. And, you know, typically anywhere between half and all of the students have a parent out there that's just cheering them on. And it's a big celebration. It's a big, exciting time. And then we award medals to the kids. We give them their soccer ball, which they get to keep and take home, because that's really another part of this program, in that we wanted to help give them the tools that they need to be able to play soccer when soccer's not in season.
I was
Right.
noticing when I was there, I mean, they had some really nice cleats.
Yeah, so we're giving the kids cleats,
Yeah.
we're giving the kids soccer balls. They get this awesome celebration medal, which is really about, you know, showing up every week, right?
Yes, yes.
Some people may have problems with participation medals, but I promise you these children don't.
No.
And it's important to them. And they will wear them. Teachers are telling us they wear them for weeks at school.
Because these kids, in all due respect, if you're not out there and you're not seeing it, they're not getting the opportunity to even compete for a medal. So to have that, they deserve it for showing up. That's a
Absolutely.
big win.
Yeah, and one of the most inspirational moments for me in the whole 4 years that we've been doing Let's Play comes as a result of these little medals, right? So we had, maybe a season or two ago, a young child that was in tears at the end of the season. One, because he was sad that soccer was ending, but we asked him kind of what was going on, and he shared with us that, you know, this is the first medal that he's ever received in his life, and that he couldn't wait to get home and tell his mom, because she's going to be so proud of him. And, you know, you can't beat that kind of
No.
story and that kind of impact for that kid.
That's what this is truly all about. That sense of pride.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to go home to mom and share, and mom's going to glow, and that's going to inspire more growth for this young. That is a great story. It's an amazing program,
Yeah.
which we recently had a professional production company come on out, CNI Studios, and they actually brought out like the big cameras and the big lights, and I mean they did it up right and went to the schools. And I can't wait for everybody to see what we're producing here. But what was that like for the teachers and the students? I mean,
Oh, it was just incredible. I mean,
Hollywood.
We've tried to tell our story, right? But we also recognize that we need to up our game when it comes to sharing our story and telling about the impact that the Let's Play program is doing. And shout out to CNI Studios, fantastic company. Their CEO is somebody that I've known for many, many, many years, and one of the best storytellers that I know. And so we invited him here, and like you say, they brought the whole shebang. And in speaking with the leaders at the schools, they were like, "Whoa, we didn't realize it was going to be this." I'm like, "You were expecting a tripod and an iPhone, right?" And they're like, "Exactly."
nope, this is not a Priestley production. This is CNI Studios.
These are real professionals
Yes.
that do real high-level work, feature film, Hollywood movie-style work, but they're all about impact. And so they wanted to be involved in this project because it's about impact. And so they came up from Florida and from New York and from different places around the country to come and film. And the kids were funny. You know, they felt like they were in a real Hollywood movie because they had the whole, like, clicker thing, like, it's like the scene set thing.
and shoot.
Yeah, exactly, all of that stuff. So the kids were like, "Whoa, this is like Hollywood. I'm a movie star."
What a cool experience.
Yeah. So they were excited. The school leaders were super thrilled, excited, and surprised that, like,
It was
whoa,
this
is a real professional deal. This isn't just like a little 5-minute interview on an iPhone camera.
So
yeah,
neat.
it's amazing, and I can't wait as well to have the final product out there to really tell the story in amazing ways.
I'm really excited for that. So, well, lastly, this is the big one. Everybody grab your pens and papers if anybody has pens and papers anymore. question is, how do we get involved with Let's Play? How do we support the program? And how can we make it bigger and better? And other schools may want to get involved. How can they get us to their schools? I know it's a big question. I'm sorry.
It's a big question, and there's 1,001 different ways, right? But the first thing that comes to mind is coach mentors, right? That's our biggest challenge as an organization, as a program, to get coaches that want to be a part of this program. And we're looking for people that are the kind of people that want to make an investment in the next generation. You don't have to be a soccer expert. We give a full curriculum, all the training that anyone needs to help run a soccer session out on a soccer field or whatever. So we're always looking for coach mentors, and that means whether you are in high school, we have junior coach mentor positions. Whether you're in college, we have retirees that are part of our staff. We have people that already have full-time jobs, but they recognize that, wow, this is an amazing program. Let me take the afternoon off, right? Or I work remotely. Let me work my schedule a little bit. Come be a part of that program. So
Feels the soul.
Yeah. We would love to really increase the number of coach mentors that we have within the program. These are all paid positions, so
Wow.
that's an awesome opportunity.
Would that be MSYSA.org?
Yep, we have all the pages around Let's Play. Just Google MSYSA.org Let's Play.
Yep.
And it'll
Brings
take
you right
straight,
where you need to go.
straight to where you need to go.
And we'll bring you to the fields.
Yeah. One of the things that we also continue to look for is additional sources of funding and resources for the program. Okay. And it's not for us.
Right.
As an organization, MSYSA, we have the resources that we need to do what we need to do. The program is completely free for all the kids that participate, but we work in collaboration with the schools and helping to fund the program. But we often come across schools that don't have the necessary funding to be able to support the program, but they would love it to be a part of their school environment. And and we work with them to subsidize the cost of the program. We've received grants from various different national organizations, but the need continues to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and those additional outside sources of funding don't necessarily expand in the same way. And so whether it's a business that wants to sponsor a location, whether it's individuals that want to make donations to the program, maybe you have a grant program that you want to reach out to us and say, hey, we're looking for programs like yours to be able to give grant funds to. We'd love to find out about those kinds of things. If you're a school principal that works at a Title I or community school, or you're a teacher there, and you're like, "Well, this would be amazing for my school."
Yes.
Reach out to us because we're always looking for new schools. We're in 9 different school districts across the state right now, 28 schools currently, and by the time we're done, we want to be able to say that we're in every school district in Maryland and D.C.
Nice.
And there are over 450 community schools, so our work is cut out for us, and maybe we won't ever get in all of them, but we want to get in as many as we can in time.
As I say, never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. And for those who would be kind enough to pitch in and financially donate, what are some of the things being supported, purchased, and used with that money?
Yeah. So as I said, one of the unique things about Let's Play is that we're not just showing up and giving soccer lessons and doing that kind of stuff. We are actually giving a soccer ball to every single participant that plays.
So we're paying
and
for
so
balls.
when we're helping to pay for the soccer balls that go to every single participant, we're helping to pay for cleats that every single participant gets. We recognize that things like hydration are an important part of the nutritional journey for kids, right? Making sure they drink enough. So we also give every child a water bottle that says, drink more water in English and in Spanish.
Nice.
So
I didn't notice that.
Yes, helping to cover the cost of those water bottles, the celebration medals that we give to them. Every kid that participates in the program gets a free program T-shirt, right? And so we want to be able to cover the costs of those things, and really just helping, whether it's big or small, to sponsor specific schools as well, right? And potentially subsidize the cost of the program for those schools to make it possible for them to either have the program in the first place or potentially to have more students involved, right? Because they may have to keep the program really, really small because that's all they can afford. And if those resources can expand, then they can offer that to more students in that particular school to participate in the program period.
I always say it, friends, giving feels good. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, I can't think of a better cause than helping out these kids in the Let's Play program. So, Nathean, thank you for doing everything you do for the Maryland community, the DC community, for our kids. This man, he's an angel, and we're very appreciative to have you here with MSYSA.
I am absolutely thrilled to be a part of it. This is the most important and significant work that I've done in my whole time, in my life, in my career, and it's really important that we have opportunities to give back and to really invest in the next generation and really invest in those children that lack the same opportunities that typical middle-class suburban kids get, or even myself in my current environment. But I'm also I'm a product of this, right? This was my story as a child, and so I recognize how it feels, and I recognize the impacts and the challenges that it creates in your life long term. And so that's why it's so important for me that we as an organization are so committed and dedicated to giving back and making a transformative change in the lives of these kids too. So.
It is awesome to be on your team, brother, and I look forward to having you back on OTL, and we'll talk about the growths of Let's Play.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, the first official OTL on the line presented to you by MSYSA. My name is Priestley. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Special shout out and huge thank yous to my buddy Brad Roos, Director of Cups here at MSYSA, as well as the Director of Outreach and Grassroots, the one and only Nathean Meadows, and that incredible Let's Play program. If you would like to be involved, if you would like to reach out to me, comment, hit me up on email. It's priestley@msysa.org. That's PRIESTLY@msysa.org. More fun from this incredible state studio here, as well as out on the fields with our players, our parents, the coaches, and the refs. It's the beautiful game, and we're bringing it to you on the line. Catch you next time.